Hi guys, how's it going? I hope you had an amazing weekend and a good Monday. So the reason I didn't upload a video this weekend is because it's a bank holiday and I wanted to see how Monday develops. Uh, when it comes to the channel, if you'd like to see my daily forecast, my previous trades, please click on the community tab. I won't be uploading videos on the daily basis. However, you can expect a weekly analysis if you're interested. Let's get into this DXY. We're looking at the monthly chart. Obviously, nothing's changed since last week. Price is just about to trade this high. It will still take some time to do that. It looks like this monthly bearish order block 50% level is failing, and I expect price to rate this high and that high. I'm not going to explain the previous price action which I did last week. Let's get into the weekly chart. So what we can see in here is the price is in a massive bull run still. What happened last week? Let me just hide everything. So what happened last week was that price raided both sides of the previous candle. So last week's previous candle was this, and once it reads the low and the high, that means a potential continuation. So that's just one more confluence to the longs. So if we add everything back on the weekly chart, price came down and tapped into this weekly fair value gap. So the weekly order flow is on. I expected price to move up. We obviously had some inverse fair value gaps in here on the weekly chart, but it looks like today price just smashed through these inverse fair value gaps. That means that these levels will act as a potential support for price. If we look at my channel, this was my actual forecast I posted on the 4-hour chart. So I expected price to drop all the way back down, and this would have been an ideal long position from this daily bullish fair value gap. However, it didn't do it. It started pushing higher, so now we're looking at a new leg. Obviously, I will wait until tomorrow morning to see how price is going to develop, but from now what I'm looking at is these two inverse fair value gaps. As I say, they should act as a support, and then if we go down on the 4-hour chart, we'll be able to refine it a little bit more tomorrow morning, and we will just find fair value gaps in this dealing range. Okay, that is DXY. So I am looking at longs, a little pullback to one of these levels and another push higher. If price is in the rush to reach some levels, for example this one, it might just won't make any deep pullbacks. It will just keep pushing higher and higher and higher with shallow pullbacks. So something like that quickly. So it can happen that Monday has already given us the low of the week. We will see. This is the DXY. Let's look at EURUSD. So this is the monthly chart on EURUSD. As I explained last week, price had 1, 2, 3, 4 rejection from this monthly bearish fair value gap. And then it started pushing lower. The order block on the monthly chart failed. When 50% of an order block failed, that means price is going to reach for the low. So this is my first target, and then the second target. And as I explained last week, ideally I would like the price C to tap into this fair value gap and then start pushing higher, creating this push as the sell side of the curve, and then this push being the buy side of the curve. Let's look at the weekly. So last week I forecasted price to come up to this fair value gap and then reject. It actually reached for the higher one, but it was actually the same idea. what I showed you on the DXY, it raided both sides of the previous candle, which is a potential continuation sign, and instead of reaching for this fair value gap again, it reached for the higher one. It didn't tap into the monthly one, but you can see it just tapped into the weekly fair value gap for continuing for further shorts. At the time, it created us some, for a while we had an SMT for short, but after price raided on the DXY this level, the SMT wasn't in place anymore. So I was expecting the same thing on Euro USD, so price to come up to this daily fair value gap, create some kind of stop run, and then move lower, which isn't going to happen at this point in my opinion. However, price is creating newer and newer legs, so we can see on Thursday it came up, it did tap into the 4-hour premium fair value gap. If we measure this range, you can see that this was the premium bearish fair value gap, and then started pushing lower. Then if you just look at the Friday, so Friday started pushing lower. I'll get rid of this for a sec. So Thursday tapped into this, and then Friday came up and rejected off of this 1-hour bearish inverse fair value gap, which I marked up and I posted on my community channel. So this was my forecast on Thursday. This is what played out. Excuse me, on Friday, and this is what played out on Friday. So on Friday we came up and tapped into this 1-hour inverse fair value gap, and price didn't actually make an entry for me here because this move happened during the lunchtime, so I didn't get an entry here, but it played out as I expected it, so I was very pleased regardless. So what happened today is typical bank holiday. I mean, on bank holidays you're going to see two types of price action. One is a sideways move, and the other one is a continuation, a direct push down to a level price wants to reach, and this is what exactly happened. Again, just to remember, the long side target isn't too far now, so this is the first level I want to reach for, so that means you see it's not far, so this can be reached tomorrow easily, and then this one still during this week. We will see about that. Let's go back to the 4-hour chart. So a new push down, I would be focusing on these higher time frame levels at this point, but price isn't going to come up here. So this weekly inverse fair value gap is aligning with these order blocks. However, price might just raid this high, and we can see another. Let's move it closer. This will be a 4-hour BPR. Let's edit this quickly. A 4-hour BPR. But as I say, what it comes to marking up the levels either on the 4-hour or on the 1-hour, I will wait exactly until tomorrow morning because a lot of things can happen until that. We've got the weekly opening level, and then we'll see about the rest, but so far I've got these levels marked up, the weekly inverse fair value gaps, and then I will be just marking up BPRs, inverse fair value gaps, and fair value gaps on the 1-hour and the 4-hour within this leg, guys. I will post all my updates, try to do it every single day, whether it's a forecast, whether it's a trade idea, whether it's an actual trade I took. Keep an eye on the community, subscribe to the channel if you're interested in further updates. Take care, peace.